Southeastern Bow Hunter Podcast.
Guys, welcome to episode 76 of Southeastern Bow Hunter Podcast. This episode is going to be a really good one. Get my buddy Dustin Huff, the man who killed the biggest whitetail in the United States. We're going to talk about probably that story a little bit. We're also going to talk about everything that's happening with some other big deer that went down this past year. We'll talk about Dustin's season and just what he's been up to, his music career, everything else. So before we get started with that, again, keeping the intros kind of short, VPA Archery, man, I am so thankful that we get to work with these guys. We will be at the TAC event in Georgia, I believe in 2 weeks, 1 week from almost a week and a half from when this episode drops. And dude, this is the second annual Southeastern Bow Hunter Bow Shoot Week. Man, I am so excited to see everybody out there. I really hope you guys, come out and have a good time. Can't wait to do the giveaways. Back to the VPA stuff, they are part of that giveaway. So you're going to get to see, all the awesome things that they brought or that they sent for you guys. And I hope y'all have a great time. VPA is by far one of the best broadhead companies on the market. And I am, once again, so thankful to be working with them. Go to their website, vparchery.com. Check out whatever you want. Once you see what you want, use the promo code SEBH10 to save 10%. Next up is going to be Summit Tree Stands. Dude, I say it all the time. Summit Tree Stands is by far the leading company in the climber industry. They don't only sell climbers. They also sell hang-ons and sticks, accessories, all that stuff. So if you need a new tree stand, go to summitstands.com. Check out everything they have, and then at checkout, use the code SEBH15. Next up is going to be Osteo gear. I love Osteo. It's by far my favorite pattern on the market right now. Joe Miles is an awesome dude. The whole team is awesome, and they constantly keep innovating their products to make them even better for you guys. So head over to osteogear.com, check out everything that they have, and when you pick out what you want, use the promo code SEBH, and that will save you 15% site-wide. That's a one-time use code, and then go back, if you go back a couple days later or a little bit later on in the year, you want some new stuff, at checkout, use the code SBH10, and that saves you 10%. Next up after them is going to be Scout Tech. Scout Tech is also doing a giveaway at the bow shoot. I believe Ryan told me he's sending over some cameras and some hats. Ryan and them will be there. At least that's the plan right now. So hopefully, they're able to make it. And man, I'm so thankful for them. Great family-owned company. They work with a bunch of different camera brands, camera manufacturers, and their software is second to none. Obsession bows. Look, I talked with Dennis the other day, and the bone is finally getting shipped. It's finally heading out to dealers. I know the Maglite 360 and the Maglite NT are going to be getting sent out to dealers soon. Once that happens, I'll let you guys know. But Obsession bows, man, that's what I shoot. That's what you see behind me right there. That's my HP 33, and it is the best bow I've ever shot. Super fast, super quiet, super easy to draw back, and I just love it. Man, who else? Look, if you need a good, archery shop, go check out Ace Hardware and Social Circle. Go to their archery shop, get with Big John or Mark. Those guys, I'm not going to say they know everything, but they're pretty close. Very thankful for those guys. So, man, if I missed anybody, I apologize. I say it every time. There's quite a few to go through. Before we get started with this, I just want to say once again, like every episode, if you haven't met Jesus Christ yet, I really encourage you to take that step, get to know him, open your heart to it, open your mind to it, and just, if you submit, your life will change. I mean, drastically change. So can't thank the Lord enough for what he's done. Wouldn't be here without him. All the blessings that we get, I give him all the glory. It's all to him. And, I have to do that every single episode. I feel like that's something, my little part that I can do is hopefully lead one of you guys listening or watching right now to Christ. Because, I mean, really, it does change your life. But look, we got all that out of the way. This weekend, when this, obviously when this episode drops, it'll be the coming weekend. Second annual Southeastern Bow Hunter Podcast Bow Shoot up at Clybell Archery, or Clybell WMA Archery Range, 9 o'clock, 9 a.m. We are going to get started right at 9. So if you are not there, you can try to find us. We'll probably be on the course. I don't know. Bunch of giveaways. Please try to carpool. Make sure you have a hunting license so you can sign in. And dude, I mean, that's that. I'm excited. I cannot wait to see everybody out there. It's gonna be a great time. I think we're gonna maybe have some people filming. I know Andy wants to. So look, man, enough rambling. Let's get started with Dustin. Guys, we got a buddy of mine. I like to call him a friend. I'm a huge fan. I respect the dude like crazy. He is the record holder for the largest buck killed in the United States, Mr. Dustin Huff. Man, Dustin, you came on about a year ago, and we got to talk about moose. I'm sure everybody by now knows that story. But for those who don't, I mean, can you give a quick little recap before we start diving into the new things? What exactly is the very quick version of the moose story?
So moose is the number one typical whitetail buck in the U.S. history. I shot him on property I've been hunting since I was a little kid. Killed my first squirrel there, killed my first deer there, first buck. 185-acre property in southeast Indiana. It's a hog farm, actually, that I grew up on, power washing and vaccinating hogs. But yeah, it's the number one typical whitetail to ever walk, I guess, in the United States history that's been killed by a person. So, yep, it's pretty crazy.
Should be the world record, but I'm gonna leave it at that. I have my own opinion on that whole scoring thing, but yeah, dude. I mean, like I said in the first episode, man, that buck is just insane. I still haven't seen it in person yet. I don't know if you've been able to work anything out with the World Deer Expo. I told them to reach out to you. I don't know if they did, but there's got to be some way to get you down here with that deer because
I'd love to, man. Yeah, I mean, like I want to go to some new places coming up, like because I've done, the regional stuff, and like I want to do like North Carolina, Georgia, and just a couple, if I just do 5 of them this upcoming year. But I'd love to get down south and show it off because I mean it's great, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, a deer like that, dude, deserves to be all over the country.
Yep.
Like should be at every show. I know you're busy, obviously, with your music career and life.
Yeah.
Deer season, of course. But so I mean, speaking of deer season, dude, what was your 23 season like? Because I know now, for people who don't know, I talked to Dustin obviously outside of the podcast, and we were talking the other day about how he consistently still will kill big deer. And one thing, like I was messing with you the other day, I was like, dude, I've only seen one potential booner in my life. Yeah, you've shot obviously moose, and then didn't you kill like 1 or 2 150 since then?
Yeah, so I back-to-back years, 2022, the year after killing moose, I shot one in Ohio, scored like 153, nice 10-pointer, and then this past season, 2023, I killed my first buck off my own property. It was and he was my number 2 shooter. Dude, it was nice. He was about 150, right on 150 and a half. I mean, right on the dot. Nice, 4.5-year-old. I got a crazy story about that too.
Lay it on me. What is it?
All right, so like I said, he was my number 2 shooter, and we call him Broke Boy. Nice 10, pretty heavy rack. He had reason why we call him Broke Boy. He had a broke G3 on his left side from the year before, and he was a nice 130, 135 the year before, and so anyways, had him, and then I had my number 1 shooter Swayze. And he's probably, I'd say he's the one, I call him Swayze. He reminds me of he's got a cool demeanor about him, just beautiful, typical 10. He's probably 10 inches bigger, probably 160. And he was my number 1. Well, so I've had them both on camera all season. And I started going in October, probably 23rd, 22nd or 23rd is when I started going in, really hunting. I had been out a couple times with my nephew, just, early season. But so once I had him on camera, went in, I was on day, I think it was the 6th or 7th day was the first time I seen him daylight in person. And where I'm at, I'm in one of my plots, and I was going about 50 yards off this main trail, and then my top plot, it's a clover patch, and then I got acorns all around me. We had a mass crop this year. It was, dude, it was nuts. I mean, you get in a tree, I just hunt about 80 to 100 yards off right behind my house here up on this hillside. And dude, you get up there, I'll get up there right before, daylight. I got does already. They were just hammering acorns all see. I mean, late into January. I mean, all season long. So, anyways, like I said, this was October, probably 28th, 29th. Well, I seen him. I seen Broke Boy and I seen Swayze in the same day. No shots. They came through on a heat wave scrape on one of my plots, and never got a shot. They went through, running does. So what day was it? The November 5th. So the 5th, let's fast forward however many days that was. Like I'm in the stand every day.
Yeah.
Trying to kill one of these deer, and I seen him 3 times those 16 days that I was hunting, and I only had that one shot. So anyways, the 5th of November, early mornings, just like every morning, here comes some does out hammering acorns. Well, I hear this grunting off the top of the hillside, coming off my neighbors up top about 200 yards, 150 yards or so. And so I'm looking up, and I got this doe. I mean, she's about 9 yards from me, sniffing on this. She's right underneath me, sniffing on this rub. And I hear this grunting. And I knew it had to be one of those two. Like, I mean, you could just tell. I mean,
You can tell.
Burp, burp, burp,
Yep.
Calm down. Well, I get my tactic in. This was my first filmed hunt too. Like I've never filmed, me killing a deer. So it was pretty cool. So anyway, he's coming off the hillside, and I see him, and I realize, I'm like, oh shit, that's my number two. He comes down, and this doe at this time, she's, right underneath my stand, and he comes down. I mean, he's got his neck cocked sideways. I got it all on camera. He's sideways grunting, and I shoot him quartering to me at 9 yards, right exactly where she was at, smelling that rub. So I smoke him. At least I think so.
Yeah.
So hear the smack, dude, and he just starts walking off. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, he just starts walking. I could tell he was hurt, but I was just like, so he goes about 30 yards behind me. This doe's still behind me about, 20 yards or so.
Yeah.
And so he walks over and he lays down, he beds down. I'm like, what in the heck? I'm shook up at this point. I'm just like, oh shit. So I start looking through my binos, and he's just, eating the greenbrier and all the grass, I'm like, he's hurt, I know I smoked him. Like, I put it right on him. Well, anyways, about 10 minutes goes by, and I'm still watching him. I'm watching this doe still feeding behind me. And he stands up. Dude stands up. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And he starts acting like he's going to chase this doe. And I'm like, there's no way. Like, I smoked this deer, Dude, I look over. 60 yards, here comes my number one Swayze off the hill where he came from, same area. Bumped him out of his bed, dude. Ran him as I'm seeing him kind of trot down. I'm thinking he's chasing this doe until I look to my right, and he's about Swayze 60 yards, and I see him bumping him. Well, he runs about 80 yards behind me. Swayze does, and I can't see Broke Boy no more. Dude lets out the biggest snort wheeze I've ever heard in my life, dude. And I could just see it, and it was unreal. So anyways, ran Broke Boy over 600 yards. I found him. So I shot that deer at 8 a.m. I didn't find him till 9 p.m. at night, dude.
Holy crap.
Swayze ran him over 600 yards on. I had to get permission from my neighbor. Dude, it was nuts. It was one of the craziest hunts I've ever had, man.
So where did you hit him?
Oh, smoked him, dude.
So he just took it.
It quartered, so where it came out, it was almost to his quarters, like his hind quarter, but it clogged up. He had some gut, like a piece of gut hanging out. Dude, we were only getting drips of blood. Like, I was like, but dude, he ran over 600 yards. Like, I just couldn't. And we were just finding little dots. And we lost blood for who knows how long. I had to call in like 5 of my buddies, and we just went looking, Ended up finding him, man. It was nuts.
That's wild, dude. I mean, I've seen obviously this, I wouldn't say is similar, but I know what you're talking about when it like plugs up, because I shot a doe last year and had a broadhead open mid-flight, And sort of the same thing, except I missed what I was aiming at, right? She was perfectly broadside, 25 yards. Honestly, I've told the story 1,000 times on this podcast, so people are probably going to skip this part, but I'm going to tell you. Yeah, let the arrow go. Wasn't too nervous, wasn't shaking like crazy. And I just watch it, because obviously I've got a lighted knock and I can see where it's going. And it just veers off to the right by like 12 inches. I'm like, dude, I didn't pull the shot that bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I've pulled shots before, but not like that.
Oh, yeah.
And so it goes straight through her guts. Thank God at the time I was shooting a mega meat. And I had just switched to that broadhead that day because the day before I had an arrow break on a doe with a fixed blade. So I'm scrambling, trying to change setups.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, the hole was as big as my head. And the only reason I knew, other than the lighted knock, that she wasn't going to last long was the size of the hole and the fact that the guts were literally hanging out.
They were just open.
Yeah. And it was pretty gruesome. Like, I could send you a picture when I found her the next morning, because obviously I didn't go after her that night.
Oh, yeah.
But I watched her. I mean, she ran to my left and went behind my stand and just bedded down. And I almost put another arrow in her, but there was a few branches in the way, and I already felt bad enough, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, when those holes plug up, man, it's wild. What broadhead were you shooting? Is it still the Rage?
Still the Rage, yep.
Which one?
I mean, it opened up and cut him good. It was just, dude, I mean, it smoked him. It was just having Swayze run him and pumped. I mean, he was just full of adrenaline, is my guess, and he just kept going. We found him right along the creek bank, man. And
man,
I mean, it was cool, man. It was just like, I mean, obviously I was just shook up all day long. Like, dude, I didn't eat. I was just pacing back and forth, just never, not thinking I'm gonna find him. And then, but it was cool, having my buddies there and my neighbor and just all my buddies, just, and just walking up on him, and then, everybody's celebrating for hours afterwards around the tailgate, just,
Man, that's probably one of the craziest stories I've heard this year, honestly. A deer
dude, it was
knocked up running 600 yards.
It was crazy, man. And having, what are the odds? I shoot my number 2, and within 15 minutes, here comes my number 1 that I've only seen daylight one time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
the closest I've ever seen him too. I mean, he was 60 yards. Like, I couldn't have shot him. He was through brush and stuff, but I'm watching him. I'm just like, like, what the heck, man? Crazy.
You had me nervous for a minute there, because when you said Swayze walked out, I'm like, please don't tell me you pulled a Chris Brackett.
Oh, dude.
I was like, gosh, dude, no.
Oh, man. Could you imagine?
That'd be bad. I mean, imagine the headlines, dude. Like, if you got all caught up and just didn't know, right? And then 3 years after you shoot the biggest whitetail in America, that headline comes out.
Oh, that would be,
gosh, that's
Well, that's what's crazy. Like, because like which I knew I smoked him though. Like in my head, I'm like, dude, I hit him good. But that's the thing. Like, but what if Swayze would have walked 10 yards under my stand? And in my head, there's no way I would do it. But it's like, it'd have been crazy, just to like. But it's just like, it's nuts, man.
So how big do you think Swayze is or was?
He was a 160. I think he was right. I would 158 to 160 is what 157 to 160. That's a huge guess. I'm not claiming to know, but I would say, we keep pumping him with some Lucky Buck mineral. And then got these plots in, man. I think he can jump to a 170 this year. I haven't, he dropped his antlers. If he jumps 10 inches, come July or so, we're going to be seeing if he's jumped any. So he wasn't killed. And then we got another 160. We call him, he's got split brows. He's crazy, man.
I mean, you might be working on Mr. 200 again with all that. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but
but my thing is, dude, it's like, I'm going to shoot him. Like when they get 160, I'm going to pull the trigger on him. It's just because I got, so many, I got 30 acres that I'm on, I manage, about 86 with my neighbors and another one of my neighbors that don't really hunt. But as far as like what I own and, and managing, like if one's coming out, like, if he's 150, 160, like,
Shoot him.
I'm going to shoot him every time. But,
Yeah.
I hope that if he does if say Swayze makes it again next year and he jumps to a 180, 190, he's got the potential, man. He's got a really cool frame and he just needs some mass. He don't have the mass that Broke Boy had.
Yeah.
But instead we keep him on this mineral for another year or two. I mean, he could jump.
So how old do you think he is?
I think he's 4.5. I think next year he'll be 5. And but if he gives me the chance, like I was gonna kill him this year or this past season. So I mean, if he comes in though, like, man, he's just beautiful, man. I mean, he just typical tall, just has a cool look. I got really cool video or pictures of him, just like, I don't know, just like he was like framing for me, like posing for it. It was just cool. That's where I gave him the name Swayze, because he's like Patrick Swayze, just freaking
just slick. You got to send me a picture of that deer, because I've got like 3 or 4 different ideas in my head of what he looks like. But
I will.
Dude, I only wanted to know how old he was because I was listening to, gosh, what I want to say it was a podcast that had Lee Lukoski on it today. And they were talking about like the jumps that deer will make and how every deer is going to have one major jump usually, and then it's kind of it's going to stay at that level for a little while and then it drops off. If he's 4.5, I mean, you're creeping into that time frame where that jump usually happens. So he
could jump 20 inches.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's going to be 200, but if you're feeding a mineral, are you putting supplemental feed out too, like protein and stuff, or can y'all not do that?
Oh yeah, I got Lucky Buck Freak Factor is what I run through December, January, February, and then March is when I start running the full mineral. It's like a feed.
Okay.
The Freak Factor is like a feed protein.
Got it. Okay.
And all that stuff, and then I'll start running that mineral, which I did March, about mid-March or so.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. I mean, dude, you're doing everything you can, and obviously the genetics are in the area, right?
And all my neighbors, like, we're all on the same page. Like,
yeah,
everybody knows what everybody's shooting. Like, there's probably, so I'm overseeing about 86 acres. There's over 500 on this same hillside, but I know all my neighbors and they're all just, they're all trying to shoot a mature buck. So I mean, it's a possibility that this area could, I'm not saying 200, but we could, within the next,
knocking on that door.
Next couple, within the next couple years, we could have some 170s, 180s here, that everybody's seeing. At least one of us will hopefully get to kill him. Obviously, I hope he comes into my food,
right?
I'm glad that I'm in a spot where a neighbor can text me or I can text him and say, "Hey, what'd you see today?" And we all do. We're all on the same page, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I've got one neighbor at one of my spots that is kind of like that. And I was, chasing this deer that I named Tank. I probably told you about him last year, but man, I'm guessing he's all of 6 years old. And this dude really confused me this year because he normally would show up like early October. He showed up mid-September and then stayed until late November. And I have not seen him since. And I know the neighbor didn't kill him because he definitely would have told me. And I haven't seen him posted on Facebook anywhere. So I'm wondering, like, maybe I'm wrong about the age, or I'm hoping I'm wrong about the age, and his jump is coming up. Because if he's still alive, dude, I mean, it's exciting. It's really exciting, right?
It's always on your mind. Just thinking about it.
Well, the good thing is too, you got the neighbors, like, because that's hard, man. Like I know a bunch of guys that will hunt. I'd say like probably 10 to 20 acres, right? And then there's neighbors all around them. Yep. And every single time I say something, they'll send me a picture of a big deer. And I'm like, oh, dude, you might want to let him walk till next year. You shoot him if you want to, but if you want a bigger deer, keep him around. Don't kill him, tell him the whole thing. And they're like, yeah, I'd be willing to do that. But old Billy Joe over here, he's going to shoot him if he sees him. I'm like, well, then it's your call, man. I was like, because it's rare.
Take that risk. And it's all about taking the risk. And like I said, here we got 2 good ones. So like me and I had Broke Boy last year. So like any 3 of those, which I didn't know about, chopsticks, the split brow. I didn't know about him till about November. My
Chopstick.
chopsticks. That's what my
It's a
neighbor. So
great
I
name.
didn't name him. My neighbor. So he sent me pictures, and then I got him on. So the 7th. So 2 days after I killed Broke Boy, I got chopsticks for the first time. I had never had him on camera, and
Was
I
it
had
daylight?
do what? Yeah, he
Was
was
it
day at
oh my goodness.
11 a.m. 2 days later.
Bro.
Yep,
What the heck?
that would have been a Monday or Tuesday. I can't remember. I wasn't in the woods that day because I was, obviously tagged out, but
Yeah.
it was just that whole week was nuts, man. My cameras were going nuts. I mean, I killed Broke Boy, so I wasn't hunting no more, but just going back and looking, like there was a lot of deer like
Yeah. You
on
had a
camera.
lot of
I
opportunity.
think I think it was acorns though, man. That mass crop just had them. They just funneled it here. I
Yeah.
mean, right where I was hunting, like I said, I would only move 50 yards, and I was seeing, 15, 20 deer a day coming and
Jeez,
going off the
dude.
neighbors to and from, over the hillside, down below me, coming to eat acorns, and in my domain food plots too that I
Yeah.
put in last year. That was a big help too. I had never did food plots till last season, and it was pretty cool, man.
Yeah, that whole food plot thing, I've tried and tried and tried. And I don't have the time, unfortunately. And I don't have the equipment. I mean, you can get that no-till stuff, but
Yep.
it hasn't ever really worked for me. So, I
Hmm.
mean, that is something, I've been talking to my grandpa who owns one of the properties that I hunt. And I was like, dude, look, you've got a tractor, you've got a tiller. Let's just go out one Sunday or one summer, afternoon and just tear it up. And I'll plant everything out. I'll pay for your gas. I'll do this. And he's all like, yeah, yeah, come on anytime. Every time I show up, I'm like, hey, we doing it? He's like, oh, well, I've been working out in the yard today. And I'm like, okay, back to the feed store it is then. Cause I
Yep.
mean, everybody around here baits. So as much as I don't want to, you kind of have to, you
Yep. That's true, man.
know. Awesome. Well, look, you had a great season, killed a giant. If you ever need someone to come up there and help thin the herd of does, give me a call. I will be there. But
Yep. We
so
like to keep them does. I usually go shoot does off a different property and
oh
keep
well,
them. Yeah, usually. That's what I did this year though. I killed a doe off here last season, not this past season, but the first season that I was here.
mhm,
Just to get my first kill on my property. But yeah, usually we like to keep them girls around, and
man.
there's we keep 8 to 10 of them, and they bring the bucks in, man. And
Yeah,
as long as they're hitting the food plots, I mean, the bucks they'll be showing up at some time.
yeah. See
Yep.
that, man, that confuses me because I've always thought like the more does you have, the more bucks are going to be there, right? But
Yep.
then I'll talk to someone that like works for NDA or someone, that has killed multiple giants. And they're always like, yeah, man, you don't want to have too many does because then why does the buck have to move? And I
That's
think like
true.
your situation, they're just there. Like the does are there, the bucks know that they're there, and it works out. You know?
There's a lot of deer in this county, man, where I'm at. I mean, there's a lot of deer. They're not all big, like sure, like where I used to hunt Decatur County, where I killed moose. Like you don't see it. Like I'd go 4 days and not see a deer. Here,
Yeah,
I'm seeing 15, 20 deer a day, and I'm only an hour and a half south. Like, but that's the difference. Like up there, you're gonna have a shot like moose or something. Down here, like you're
yeah,
gonna get some big deer, and possibly, there's been 200-inch deer killed down here, but that's the thing. There's so many does down here. Like, but then
keeps them around.
again, there's a lot of bucks too,
Yeah,
and they are like, at least from what I've seen, like there is a lot of 120s, 130s on here, like, but there's a few 150s, 160s. And as long as you have a few of those, they're going to keep jumping, and let those 120s, 130s keep jumping too, and keep like, and I don't know what my neighbors kill as far as, doe wise. Like
yeah.
they might be doing enough doe patrol what
You just
I'm doing.
don't
Yep.
see it.
So
Yeah.
as long as I'm just, as many deer I'm seeing, I'm just going to keep it
I was
as it
gonna say,
is.
dude, you
Yep.
if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yep.
I love it, man.
Yep.
So what before we get into some of the other stuff we were talking about before we hopped on here, what's been going on with the music stuff, man? I know you dropped a new song
Eyes
recently.
raised.
Yep.
Yep.
that one. And I think, didn't you tell me like a month or so ago you've got some more stuff coming down the pipeline soon?
Yep. So I went to Nashville. That was last Tuesday. Went last Tuesday, recorded my new song that's coming out in May. It'll be late May. Actually, I got a text from my producer. We put guitar on today. He put some guitar on and
Nice.
had a guy come in. So everything's getting close. Vocals on, drums are on, electric. We need background vocals and a couple more things, and then we'll send it off to mastering, mixing, and it'll be out. So it's a song that I wrote for my wife.
Oh boy.
We got married last summer, so this May will be our 1 year anniversary. And that's what this song is about, just how me and her met. And it's my first love song.
You're gonna make me cry.
Oh yeah, dude.
Am I gonna cry?
You're
Be
gonna
honest.
love it, man. It's one of my favorites that I've written. Just it's really different. You know, I've never really sang love songs before, so
Yeah.
it's something. It's not like the redneck stuff that I'm usually putting out. So
Yeah.
it's something a little different, but could be a wedding song for some folks out there.
Hey, I've got my sister-in-law's getting married, my brother-in-law's getting
There you
married
go.
next year.
There you go.
I'm gonna push it. I'm gonna send it to him like, hey, look, this is my buddy's song. You should put this on the track list.
Yep, and that's kind of how I'm gonna like promote it to like uh here's a wedding song that nobody's ever used. Like be the first to use it at your
Yeah.
wedding, you know, or whatever it is. So but yeah, I'm excited. Got that coming, and I mean I got so many songs I'm sitting on, but I like to space them out, you know, 5, 6 months apart. Just yep, just kind of go from there and just release them and play some shows on occasions, but I just kind of got off the road, man. I got tired. Nine
Yeah.
years of doing it, man. Just it was fun, but
Yeah, I never understood. Like I'm a big Nickelback fan, right? So those
yeah,
guys will go 2 years almost every single night, it seems. And I'm just like, how do you do that?
dude.
I mean, I can't even stand being away from the house or the family for more than 2 days.
Yep.
It's like, how do you go? I guess in that lifestyle and that, way of living, you kind of just get used to it. If that's really truly what you want to do, I get
Yep.
it.
Yep.
But I could not. I
And those guys though too, like they're making so much dang money. Like
know.
I wasn't making no money. Like I was just, you know, wherever somebody had me play, you know,
Yeah.
uh, that's just the only way I knew how to do it. And you know, but those guys, you know, they know they're gonna tour for 10 years and then they're gonna retire for the rest of their lives. So
Yeah.
but yeah,
Everyone's been saying that.
it would be nuts, man. It would be nuts. Like, you know, like Nickelback, like, they'll tour for a lot of these guys, they'll tour less than 10 years, make their, you know, 50 million or whatever, and
And they're just
they're
gone.
done and they just, yep. But yeah, I just kind of I'm just kind of doing you know, I still write songs for people down in Nashville, um, recording my own stuff, but really not playing much shows, just kind of doing the online thing and, you know, just trying to get one of these songs to hit and go
Well, I
from there.
mean, if you drop the song about Moose, you know,
Yeah.
I know you've told me you've written that.
Yep.
I mean, that could work.
Yep. That's
Just
true.
saying. If I
Yep.
wasn't supposed to say anything, let me know. I'll bleep it out. But
No, you're good.
okay. I don't want your manager coming after me like, hey man, look, yeah, no, you need to clear that out. Just snip it, take that 2 minute segment, get rid of it. No, that honestly, dude, that's awesome. I can't because I'm a softie for songs like that.
Yep.
I mean, I'll find a new song and I'll show it to my wife and I'm like, oh, you need to listen to this. This is how I feel about you. And then she just
Yeah.
looks at me like, you're so corny. I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, you married me, dude. What's that say about you?
This is for you.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, this is how I show my affection. Most of the time, I don't
Yeah.
do that. But no, that's awesome, dude. I can't wait to hear it. You know that I'm going to be downloading it the second it comes out. So I want to sort of get into some of the stuff we were talking about before. What do you know about, or I guess let's do it this way. What do you think about the situation with CJ Alexander? Because I know you and I have both talked to him. You know my opinion on it. I think it's all legit, but there was supposed to be a court hearing like 2 weeks ago. I never heard anything about it, and there's no charges being pushed. There's nothing like that going on. I mean, what's your opinion on the whole thing?
About the same as you, man. I think here's what I think. I think he's innocent. I think he just like me. Like I killed Moose, and people thought there is no way. This is impossible. This redneck, he killed this deer, biggest deer in the US. And I did it legally. And I just happened to go deer hunting, man. That's just what I do. And I think CJ's just like me. He's a
Mhm.
guy that just loves to deer hunt. He's not some, we just go deer hunting. We take
Yeah.
our climber out and we go hunt, like with our crossbow, gun, compound, whatever we're using that day, and we go deer hunt and hope a
Mhm.
deer comes by. And I think he was in the same, like just like me. He was sitting in the right place, right time. Here comes a monster. He smokes it. And I think people got jealous, from what I'm hearing, from what I hear, there's some rich dude or a DA or some kind of high up, um, and I think that had something to do with it, that he said, this is impossible. Send his boys after him, and, here comes DNR, and they take it. And my thing is, like, talking to CJ, like, I think they took him the antlers illegally. Like I don't think you can just, like, at least here's me. If DNR shows up to my house and they say, I'm going to take those antlers, I would look at them and say, that's wrong. That's not going to happen. Like,
Yeah.
no, you're not taking them because it's legal. Like what
Mhm.
I did is legal. That's me. Like, so like, I don't know, much about it. Like ever since the first court date was supposed to happen, but like you said, there's no criminal charges. It just doesn't make sense to me. Like I would be losing it, dude.
Oh yeah.
I
I
would
I
be,
see him post on Instagram all the time, and I will say this: when I first heard about it, when I first saw that deer, first off, that deer is giant. I mean,
oh, it's a
the two
monster.
what was it, 235 gross,
230,
typical.
yeah, 235, 238 or something like that. I mean,
Yeah, like
I want to
that dude.
see it so bad. I just
I know.
want,
Well, I was gonna say I want to see Moose and him next to each other and just see, because
yes.
Moose is huge.
Yeah.
Like I've compared a
But
picture of
this,
Moose to the
yeah,
Hanson buck, and
yep,
night and day. Yours is bigger. I don't care what anyone says. Yours is bigger,
yep.
and it's just it threw me. I even got my wife involved. So when that happens, because she doesn't.
It's a big deal
Yeah,
then.
yeah. Like she doesn't care about the deer hunting world. She could care less what size of deer a guy kills.
Yep.
But I was telling her, I was like, what do you think? Because I'm trying to.
Yeah.
I went on a 2-hour deep dive. I looked up criminal records. I looked up all the posts from ODNR. Looked up everything CJ had said.
Yep.
Dude, I watched every video on that buck, all the social media stuff. And at first, I was like, all right, this dude is legit, right? Like it's all legit. And then I forget what it was. I think what made me start questioning it was when they were talking about when CJ was on a podcast and who had him on first? It was Hunter, wasn't it?
I think, yeah, the Hunter or whatever.
Yeah. Okay,
Hunter
so they
boys.
had put out another episode talking about that whole situation and saying like, okay, here's some stuff that didn't really line up with or didn't make sense. Like the whole, he said he didn't have his phone with him, but then he in his story says he called his buddy right away. And so you hear that and you don't really think on it and you kind of just take it at, face value and you're like, oh, okay, well that something's wrong there. But I mean, think about it. If you go in there, you shoot this buck, you don't have your phone, just because he said, oh yeah, I called him right after. Dude, that could mean 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes.
An
I mean,
hour.
yeah, like
And that's the thing, dude. Like I put myself in CJ's because I've been in CJ's shoes, and it's like
mhm.
when I first, I mean, you're still riding that adrenaline on those first podcasts. Like, dude, I probably said stuff that don't make sense or don't line up. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
one, I'm nervous. Two, like that thousands and thousands of people are going to watch these things and like judge and this and that. And it's like, and CJ, like he's even told me, like he's not a guy that's usually out, a people person. Like he
Mhm.
doesn't like me, I've played music my whole life. So I've always,
Yeah, you're used to it.
interacted, and yeah, I'm used to it. So
Yeah.
like all that stuff, but like him going into a podcast with people he don't know, like, of course he's nervous, man.
Yeah.
Like it's just,
I mean,
but
dude, I've been doing podcasts for it'll be 2 years this fall, and I still get nervous sometimes.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
that's what I mean.
I get it.
Yeah.
So that whole thing, man, like like I said, I've talked to him just as you have, and
Yeah.
I've told him flat out, like, dude, you know, there's buddies of mine that are saying it's illegal. There's buddies of mine saying you poached it. I just want you to know that if everyone else says you poached it, I'm I'm saying you didn't,
Yeah.
because all the other stuff, like, because I'm trying to think of how to put it. I feel like I can read people pretty well, right?
Yeah.
Like, obviously, you're a genuine dude, so I enjoy talking to you.
Thank you.
CJ seemed the same way, and not
Yeah.
even like
Yeah.
talking over Instagram. It's like watching him on the videos.
Yeah.
You can tell this dude's not out here, you know, trying to make a quick buck. He's not trying to pass off something that's fake. And if it comes out like that, it was illegally killed or whatever, then I'll obviously have to say, like, okay, well, I was wrong.
Yeah,
Right.
same here. Like that, but I want to here's what I also want to make sure that he gets, if it does go to a criminal, whatever they do with this, and he ends up, say he does end up, they do take it and whatever, and
Mhm.
we still have to make sure that they didn't mess with it. Like, that's
Well,
another thing that with this this hot shot, this big dog involved. Like, I don't know the whole story, okay, but this is just what
yeah,
I'm hearing. This guy owns what, 60% of the land,
yeah, he's very high
land
up in
in
the
the
community.
county or something,
Yeah.
something like that. Okay, say there was a guy like that in my county, and
Mm.
I killed this deer. What would happen to me? You
I
know,
mean, I don't even want to think about it.
and that's what I mean, and that's why I tell everybody, man, the impossible can happen. Like, it's happened to me, and I think, I truly believe that the same thing happened with CJ. And I
Yeah.
think that buck was just hiding out. That buck knew there was cameras on him all over the place, and he went to a sanctuary, and that sanctuary was CJ's sister's land. I
Yep.
mean, I don't know why people think it's so crazy to, like, it can't happen, because stuff like this happens all the time.
I think what it is like with your deer, there was guys that knew about it. There was guys,
Yes.
yes, it was far away, but there was guys that knew about it. There's trail camera photos, there's history, all of that. With this deer, the only photos that I know of are one photo well before this deer was shot. Same year, but well before, like a month almost before it was shot. And
Hmm.
then supposed sheds from like 4 years before, but there's
Yes.
no way because those sheds are the same size almost, and they don't even look the same.
I saw those sheds. And I don't know about those, but even if it was, it said what, they were 20 miles away or something.
Yeah.
It's still possible that
Oh
deer
yeah.
could be pushed and pushed and pushed, or running on a doe, whatever it is. But those deer are smart.
Yeah.
Like,
Especially one that big.
they go where people ain't.
Yep.
And I don't think people were back there where he was at. And if that's where he killed it, and I'm rooting for him, man. I
Oh yeah.
really hope that everything comes to light within the next, I know everybody's sitting here waiting on it, and like everybody else, but I hope it all comes to light, and, we can the deer world can,
Move
you know,
on.
yep, let's
Yeah.
get it done. And, I hope CJ gets him back. And hey, I told him, I said, let's do some shows together, brother.
Yeah.
Let's take our deer out, and, just we're just the guys that go deer hunting. And,
Yeah.
like, the people in this industry, these hot shot, these big dogs, they don't like that. They don't like that. You know what I mean? They that's impossible. It's a
Yeah.
fluke. That's a fluke. He did, it's deer hunting. It's big deer, man. It's
Yeah.
just, they're
Well, you
everywhere.
never know. Like the argument I've had, and I've had this argument recently with people, or maybe not an argument, more of a discussion, is big deer are literally everywhere. Now, does that mean there's a lot of them? No.
And are
But
you going to see them?
exactly.
Not
Like
always.
the biggest deer I ever saw in person was on public 3 years ago. Same year that you killed moose, I saw the
Mhm.
biggest deer in my life at a place that if you look it up, people say there's no big deer.
Yep.
They're there.
Oh yeah.
So
They're just
it,
really good at hiding.
yeah, well, and it's nature too. Like, nature does weird things with these animals. I mean, look at the
Oh,
Brewster buck.
oh
They
yeah.
knew about him, but Luke didn't know. And then he kills a 327-inch deer that's now the world record out of Illinois.
Yep.
So I don't know, dude. It kills me too because like the hunting community loves controversy. Like Ron
They
Paul
do.
the king buck, your deer, now CJ's deer. I mean,
Oh yeah.
it honestly, out of all of those, I feel like you and Johnny King probably have the most. If you look back at the stories, I mean, Johnny King's story is insane, but
Mhm.
you guys, because we know everything that happened, it's pretty simple for the people like, oh, he poached that. There's no way. It's like, no, he didn't. Look
Yep.
at what happened.
Yep.
So hopefully CJ's story turns out like that. I don't know. I mean,
Yep, that's same with me, man. I don't know what's going to happen, but I hope I hope that he gets him back, and everything's legal, and I hope and if it is legal, and if the DNR illegally took it, we need to have some serious conversations about that in the hunting world. That you don't just take somebody's antlers off a hunch or off of this. You make sure you have facts. You make sure you have evidence before you come into somebody's home and take their antlers from them.
yep.
That goes with
Instead of a
anything.
picture of a stick that you say was there, but it
Yeah,
really
it's
wasn't. And,
just
and then you bring in the stick and it's like, that's not,
it just feels a little overstepping to me from and I like I was so like my DNR that I dealt with, awesome, a fantastic officer, man. I still talk to him today.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's a guy that, and every officer needs to be like him. Like he came in, he wasn't accusing me of nothing. He was just like, hey, just tell me what happened. And I told him the truth, and he was getting calls left and right. Heck, I just talked to him at a show in December or in January. He was at a show I was at, running his new dog, and uh, he told me, which I hadn't heard this, but he said that after he investigated me twice, he came to my house twice, and I talked to him, and he's like,
Mhm.
we're getting 100 calls. We're getting 100 calls a week on you.
Dang.
That, oh, dude, just nuts. So he finally, after months of this, people would call in on me. He would start threatening them.
Ah,
He's going to charge them with false, criminal false information.
oh
So
no.
he was planning. He told me that he was cracking up. So
That's
he
hilarious.
said, so then it stopped. He said, what, whoever these people were that kept calling, just trying to make up stories, and dude, and that's what I mean. Like
Yeah.
I've lived it. So I really am on CJ's side, and let's just hope for the best, man. I hope I'm not, shooting myself in the foot here saying
Yeah.
it's just like, but still, that's just what I believe, and how I feel about it. It's just like, because that's what I would do in the situation if I was in it. Like,
Yeah. I
it's
mean, I
like,
haven't really brought it up much. I've thrown in a couple opinions here and there, but especially after all this time. I mean, you killed a deer back in what, November?
yep,
And it's already halfway to May.
yeah. Are we gonna know before deer season? Like,
Yeah. I mean, it's I don't know, dude. There's something about because this isn't the first time something like this has happened. I've heard a lot of stories recently about people having DNR show up, take the rack. Sometimes they never see it. Sometimes they get it
did you see
back
the North
damaged.
Carolina guy?
I think that's who I'm thinking of.
He shot one in North Carolina, in like Virginia or something.
Yeah, yeah,
And it was a huge thing. And he ended up getting his back because they illegally took his antlers.
yeah,
And that's kind of how I see this similar. It's a similar situation to CJ's, man. It's crazy.
yeah. What's bad is it kind of it shows the dark side of it. The dark side of not even just the community or what we do, but like the I want to say the industry too, because we both know if there's people in the industry talking, like, oh, this kid poached it or whatever. You don't know. You weren't there. You don't even live there.
Poor idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what
So
I mean, man.
it's crazy. I was talking to a buddy of mine today, and we were talking about how small the industry is and how even more small the archery industry is, and
Mm-hmm.
how like one bad move, it could completely ruin everything you're doing.
Yep.
And before I got into this, I always thought, oh man, the hunting industry's got to be like, tight knit. Everyone's got to be cool. And, they all get it. They all love what they do and they all, will lift each other up. And it's like, it's not that way. Even for us little guys, on this end of it, it's just not that way, man. And it's, it is what it is. I mean, there's good sides, there's bad sides, but
Yep, that's any business. Like that's what I'm learning in this, outdoor industry, or the deer world. Like it's very similar to the music industry, man. There's a lot of good and there's a lot of bad and there's
Yeah.
a lot of just BS, and then you got the real dudes, you got the fake ones, you got the this, the that, the money guys,
Yep. The
there's all.
product pushers that don't even use what they push.
But
Yeah.
that's what I mean. It's just I like to, keep it real and I just do what I do, and people like it, people don't like it. I don't care. I like it, it's
Yep.
just it's what I do. Like been doing it since I was a little kid and I ain't gonna stop. So
I mean that, dude, it's so refreshing to hear that, because we did a I guess you could say like an arrow series, right?
yeah.
And T-Bone was on last week, or no, I'm sorry, 2 weeks ago, and that was kind of like the end of it. And what I noticed was you get one guy on the, let's just say, the very far end of like heavy, and he's saying everything he's saying,
Mm-hmm.
and you can back it up with some science, but there's also real world applications that it may not apply to. But then
Yeah.
you get someone who's preaching unbelievably light, and you're like, well, that works for you with your setup, but you give it to a random guy, that's not going to work. And
Yeah.
it's interesting to see both ends. And then you got people that meet in the middle, and they're telling you like, okay, this works or this works. You can do either one. And to me, that's kind of, I know it's kind of a weird analogy, but it sort of relates back to like what you were saying is you just keep it real. And that's what we need. There's very
Well,
few
that's
people
it.
that do that.
Yeah, I think, I think Waldale. I think Waldale is one. I think he is a guy that all those guys. I think all those,
Mhm.
David Blanton, all those guys I met. Those guys are real dudes that, yeah, they're celebrities, but they're still real, man. Like
Yep.
they're the real deal. But I just see a lot of these online guys, man, that just, I don't know. Like I'm not judging them, but it's just like I get people coming to me like asking, like, well, I saw this on Instagram or YouTube or something. It's like, yeah, but that's not right. Like, that's not
Yeah.
how I do it. Like, that's what they're saying, because it's a lot of it's unrealistic, man, to the average deer hunter. And I'm just the average deer hunter. I just go deer hunting, and it's like I think I can relate to the everyday guy, like because
Hmm.
everyday person, because like I am one. Like I'm not the guy that has 5,000 acres and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Like I get it done with a rake and and hard work cutting trees down and this
Yeah.
and that, making funnels and this and that. And I do it. And but you know what I mean? It's
Oh
just
yeah. Well, and so
I don't try to tell people like this is how you do it. This is just what I do. And
yeah.
I kill some good deer and sometimes I don't,
Well,
I just love
okay, Dustin.
it,
You killed some good deer. You killed the biggest deer
Yeah.
in the country. Don't
Yes.
look. I love the
That one,
humility.
yes,
Okay, I
but
do. But man, you gotta at least own that one a little bit.
yeah, but it's just,
I
but
know.
at
I
the end of
know.
the day, dude, it's it's a deer. Like it's
Yeah.
the biggest deer in the world, but like to me, like I love deer hunting, but like people go crazy over this.
Oh,
Like I did
dude.
not realize, like I'm the most, like I've been obsessed with this deer hunting since I was a little boy. Like every day I'm
Yeah.
thinking I'm going to the woods. Hey, I had a freaking moped when I was 14 years old, and I'd tie my freaking Bowtech Diamond on the back, freaking cruising down, and that's where and that's real stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
The mental image I just
and Summit Climber on my back, bud. That's what I'm talking about. It's the yep, pop.
You
I'd
might be
get
the
home.
only person I've ever met who used a moped. That's so
I
cool.
guarantee it. And I would have my climber. I'd always have
Yeah.
to flip it up because the cables, I'd have to have them up because I
Yeah.
couldn't. So, anyways, that's how I would ride. And I'd get home from school at 3:30 and I would head to the woods and I wouldn't be home till dark. When
That's
October
crazy.
1st hit at 14 years old was when I got my first bow. And it was the end. Like I was killing deer, at 12, 13, but that was, just with my muzzle loader
Yeah.
and got on the bow hunting. And yeah, dude, that's just how I've always been. Like, just like
That's
riding to
awesome.
the woods with a moped. I didn't care that people thought it was, look at him.
Crazy.
I'm going to the woods, boys. I got to kill some deer.
Yep. See, and
It-
that, I can testify to what you were saying about like, I guess keeping it real and what's important to you. Cause like honestly, out of the what is it, 70? I think we're on episode 76. So the 70 plus people that I've met doing this, I think you and like maybe 3 or 4, maybe 5 other people are the ones that I will continuously keep in contact with. Not that I don't like the other guys. It's just
you can
it's
see
hard to
through
get in
them.
contact, or I feel like I'm bugging them, you know?
Oh
So
yeah.
and I do have one question though. So when you first killed moose, you sat down with old Waddy.
Oh
And
yeah.
I don't know if you know, we had Waddell on the podcast last year, and I was a nervous wreck. Like literally, dude, sat
Shaking.
there. Yeah. Well, and I'm sitting there like today, I had the screen up just waiting for you to be able to get on and all that.
Yep.
And I was sitting there, I was like, God, I hope I don't sound stupid. What if I say this? What if I say that? And you should have seen my face when he popped on and he had that big old smile and he's like, Eric, what's up, man? And I'm like,
What's up, brother? Yeah, dude.
hey. I was like, what's up, dude?
Yep.
But I say all that because you're right. Waddell, T-Bone, all those guys, they are exactly what you think they are
Oh
because
yeah.
they don't change.
Yep.
They're the same people you see on TV. And I respect that a lot.
Dude,
So,
that's the thing. They come from it. I mean, they come from the woods, man. They come from that way of life, and it's just there's guys like that, and then like I said, there's
the
you see them
personalities.
all over. I mean, and then people come to me like, well, did you see what he? Yeah, but that's not what I do here. That you can do that on a deer ranch or something.
Yeah, right.
Like real
Put out
deer hunting,
5,000
it's
pounds of
different.
feed.
Yeah,
You'll get
it's
the biggest
different.
buck.
It's a different ball game whenever you're just, trying to, you know, make ends meet and,
Yeah.
hunt and try to kill big deer. So, but all respect to them. That's how
Oh,
they hunt.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
great.
And that's the thing, man. Like,
But
whenever
as
I bring
far
this
as
up,
being relatable and, well, this is how you're supposed to kill it. Well, that's not how you're supposed to. That's how you do it, which
it's
is
a way
great.
to do it.
That's a way to do it. That's
Yeah.
one way. There's a lot of ways to do it. So that's where because I catch myself doing things, and then like my buddies who really just got in, like some of my buddies who just got into deer hunting, like they see all this stuff on Instagram and YouTube, and I'll do something, and they're like, well, that's not how so and so did. I'm like, yeah, but let me do how I do it, because
Yeah. It's worked for me.
I'm having luck my way too. So it's just
Yeah. Just show them that shirt you're wearing and be like, look, man, this works. Okay.
and just by going deer hunting,
Yep.
just people get shook up, man, and I get shook up too. But it's like the end of the day, we got to remember it's deer hunting, man.
Yep.
This is just it's like going fishing. It's deer hunting. It's something fun supposed to be, and that's what we got to get back to, and not this competition and who's got whatnot. Just it's a high five to everybody. You
Yep.
deer high five. Fist
Yeah,
bump.
that's a big thing that I've been trying to push is people getting back to just be happy that someone killed something, because I mean, I'm guilty of it, dude. When I first started, being from Illinois and stuff, and I'm been seeing big deer since I was a kid. When I first started hunting, I was like, oh man, I'm gonna go in the woods and kill the biggest thing, and I'm gonna be this great person, awesome bow hunter, whatever. And that never happened.
Yep.
And one thing I did notice though, like you were saying, they'll see on like Instagram and stuff or TikTok or whatever it is, and there's these guys putting out all these tips that might work for where they're at. But down here in Georgia, I can tell you half those Midwest strategies do not work.
Yeah.
And I spent years struggling with that.
Yep.
So,
And that's what I try to tell everybody, man. It's just like get out. It's just trial and error, figuring it out. And like you can watch all the videos and all the tips and that. It's just get out there and get in the woods. And that's all there is to it. And man,
that's the way to do it.
At some point it's gonna happen. Like it's gonna happen, dude. I went years without even killing a buck, like, and then at one point I started killing bucks. Like I started getting in the right place, right time. And, obviously you learn a lot as you in the woods for 15 plus years. I mean, you learn every year, but it's like, I mean, so yeah, man, we got to get back to just go deer hunting, man. Like I said in the last, we just go deer hunting and we have fun. And that's what the Huff buck is, man.
Have you copyrighted that yet? Because if not, you need to.
I need to. I
You
do
need
need
to
to.
make
But
a
yeah,
song out of it, make some shirts, a hat. I mean, some
I
stickers.
I am gonna get some. I do want to get some shirts made and some, all that. I got some other slogans too. Um, it's just, just starting out. I got these just done, a couple months back, and so once we get these, two logos, and then we'll move on, and hopefully within the next, few months we'll have more, varieties of the just to go deer hunting and just other stuff. Like I got fishing shirts I want to make too, just
There
like,
you go. Okay.
just stuff like just outdoor stuff that just guys like me would wear, guys like me and you would
Yeah.
wear, and kind of just build that community of we just go fishing, we just go hunting, like
Mhm.
we're just
Keep
like
it
we don't
simple.
get shook. Yeah, we don't get shook up. Like these guys, they get shook up about it. Like it's
Yep.
like, dude, at the
You
end
just
of the
go
day,
out one morning in November and kill a 211-inch deer, and that you just go hunting.
just go hunting, man. That's what I
Yeah.
was doing, just going and enjoying the woods, and it changed my life. And like it can happen to anybody. Like that's what I tell everybody. Like is just go in the woods and
Yep.
just go deer hunting.
Now, are those shirts on the website?
Yeah. Well, I got one. I got my deer hunter shirts on there.
Okay.
So I don't have like this one I'm wearing. I have the hoodies on there that of this one. But I'm gonna put these shirts on. Dude, I'm having hard. I do all this stuff myself. Like
Mhm.
I'm a one man, shop here. Like make them, I market them. All this stuff. Put them on more. So I trying to figure out like this website stuff has been crazy. I'm not a tech guy or anything. So I'm learning. So a lot of my stuff is a lot slower than what it should be, but I always tell you it's gonna get there, I promise. It's like my songs that I'm sitting on, like they're gonna get recorded someday. It's
Yep.
just it takes me a little, every few months or every 5, 6 months, and then get on that one and boom, release that. Or if it's a song or a shirt or a hat or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So yep.
Well, let me know when that shirt drops, and I'll get one. I'm actually gonna hop on the website after we get off of here and check out everything that you got.
Cool. Appreciate
Because
it.
I need to get some Huff Buck stuff. I need to show people what, hey, you ever heard of a Huff Buck? No? Well, check this out. Go on YouTube, type in Dustin
Yep.
Huff and watch all this, man.
Yep. And
Because I
let
mean
them know.
that deer, something about that deer, dude. I don't know what it is. It's to me, it's like the perfect 12 point, right?
Yep.
Okay,
12.
perfect 12. It doesn't get any better than that. I mean, really,
Yep.
it's gosh, dude. I could talk about that deer
It's
for
nuts,
hours.
dude. I know. Every time I look at him in the morning, I'm just like, what the heck? What in the heck, man? What? It just don't make sense, man. It's just
So I'm gonna ask you something, and you can tell me to kick rocks. If you can't do it, I get it. How far away is he from you right now?
uh
Too far?
he's right through. Oh, you want me to get him in here?
I mean, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, I mean, dude, he's just like right around this door. I'll get him.
Awesome. Blessing us with the Huff Buck. I love it. And for those of you just listening, Dustin is going to get the largest whitetail ever killed in the United States. I don't know how long it's going to take him to bring it in because it is a huge deer. But this is why you should watch the YouTube. Oh, he's back with it.
Here he comes.
Oh my gosh, dude. Good Lord. I mean, that,
So there is Moose.
ah,
Ain't that
Dustin.
crazy?
Well, my night's made. That is freaking good Lord. Look at that thing, dude.
There's my hands can't fit around it.
Yeah. My gosh. That is,
Imagine this sucker coming up the hillside to you.
dude, I'd die in the tree stand.
Oh,
And that'd be the best way to go. I don't even know how your heart dealt with that,
dude,
honestly.
I really don't know either. Like, it was just like, it was nuts, man. It's like something that I can't even describe, like the feeling, because it's like, that's the only time I've ever felt it. Like the
Mhm.
adrenaline, even I only thought he was 180 inch deer, 170, 180 inch deer. And then
Yeah.
like, But I mean, it's just like the
You
biggest
add
deer.
on 30 inches.
The biggest deer I pulled the trigger on was a 134-inch deer, and then this dude
Mhm.
comes down and it's like, what the, you know,
That's insane, dude.
just crazy.
Man, well, thank you for bringing him out, dude. If this video doesn't blow up because of that, here, you know what? I'm gonna stop talking. I'm gonna stop talking. I just say something so it goes back to you. I want
Here,
people
let's
to see
let's
this
put
thing.
him back here real quick.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, let's sit him right there. He wants to join in on the rest of it. It's crazy, ain't it?
I'm speechless. I'm
Old
speechless.
moose.
Oh man. So, all right, look, before we wrap this up, because now my mind is just blank and blown. I got nothing else.
You're just thinking about the
I
antlers.
am, dude. I'm gonna have a dream about that deer and or a deer like it. Because probably if I dreamt about that deer, it'd be a nightmare because you'd be up in the trees and I'd be like, well, dang
Dies
it.
at your falls at your stand.
Yeah,
At your
right.
feet. Gosh damn
um,
it.
dude, you broke my brain, Dustin. You broke my brain.
That's
Honestly.
what hey, that's what moose will do to you, man.
Jeez. That's insane.
He's
Well,
got
look, dude, before smoke starts coming out of my ears and blood starts dripping from my nose, why don't you tell us what we can expect to see from you the rest of this year? If you got any hunting plans. Obviously, you were talking about music, you're talking about merchandise coming out. What are you going to be at any more shows this summer or no?
yeah, July 19th or 20th. I can't remember what day I'm going up. It's that weekend though. It's up in Wisconsin. What the heck is it? I can't remember I don't even remember what it's called, but it's called the Deer Fest. I think it's just called Deer Fest.
Oh yeah,
Deer Fest. It's up in Wisconsin. I can't remember the city, but it's called Deer Fest, Wisconsin, July 19th, 20th. And then I got the Illinois Deer and Beer Fest. That's in August.
gotcha.
And that's in Bloomington, Illinois. And that one I haven't, fully confirmed yet, but I've been talking to the guy, so I'm pretty sure I'm gonna go over there for a couple of days. And then January or maybe late December. I can't remember. That one's just only 30 minutes from me in Lawrenceburg,
Oh, okay.
Indiana, and that's like a hometown show for me. And then we start all over again for next season at Indianapolis. So, yep,
Yes, sir.
got that going on. Turkey season's coming up on the 24th here. So I got what is today? I got 7 days. So I'm a week away from smoking a long beard.
There you go. Dude, our
I'm re-
season's been in for like 2 weeks now. So you saying
I
that, I was like, oh, what day is
You
it?
guys get the perfect time. Like once ours comes in, like the birds are still fired up, but I mean they're fired up now. Like it really
Right.
needs to be in that. Like you season comes in this weekend, but my nephew he can't go. He's got baseball all weekend, so that's putting a damper on his hunting plans for you know turkey time. So
Yeah.
but yeah, that's pretty much what I got food plotting. I got my buddy coming up from South Carolina, Brennan Roberts. He comes up every year, hunts with me, and does food plot stuff with me. And so he'll be up May 15th to like the 20th, and we'll get everything in the ground and yep, tilled up. And
Get
I'm
ready for this
excited.
year.
I'm
Gotta
excited.
kill moose number 2.
Let's see what Swayze does.
Dude,
Come
you
on,
gotta keep
Swayze.
me updated on that deer.
I'll send you
Honestly.
a picture right
Yeah.
whenever we get off here. I'll send you a pic.
Okay. Good. Because it's again, man. I've been arguing with my buddies. I got a bunch of buddies that duck hunt, and I think something happened after that eclipse, or maybe even beforehand. Something's going on because I'm sending them deer photos, and they're sending me duck photos. I'm like, guys, I don't care about no duck. I was like, there's deer. What are you doing?
These majestic deer, like
Yeah. And they're all like, oh man, you got to go duck hunt. And I'm like, no, 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 no. I have a bunch of stuff I need to do before season starts.
yeah,
Velvet's about to start coming in. I got at least 1 or 2 deer that's got nubs on them. One of them's probably trike. No, no
yep,
ducks. I'm not even turkey hunting. Like,
yep, getting prepped.
yeah, like you got to get on it early because you
Yep,
kill them now.
yep.
So I don't know, man. But look, Dustin, I appreciate you coming on, dude. I literally, my brain is hurting. I feel like my eyes are going like this. But thank you for bringing Moose out, man. I honestly, we need to do this more. We need to get you
Yeah,
on more.
sure, man. I love
It's been
keeping
too long.
everybody updated, on what's going on because there's always something going on. Seems like, there's always something happening, or a show or a new song or whatever
Yeah,
it is, man. There's always something going on. So yeah, I appreciate you having me on, and
of course, dude.
always enjoy talking, man. I could, like I said, I can talk deer hunting,
Yeah, I
anytime.
know. I believe me, I gotta restrain myself because I told my wife earlier that we were doing this tonight, and she was like, "You gonna be down
How
there for
long is
hours
it gonna
again?"
be?
Yeah, that's exactly what she asked. She was like, "How long is it gonna be?" I'm like, "Well,
You never know.
I don't know." I was like,
You
"Past
never
couple
know.
ones have been a little long. I know. I'm sorry, but
Yep.
it is what it is, man. Got to keep the life happy."
Oh yeah.
But awesome, dude. Well, is there anything else we need to know before we hop off of here? Anything new? I know I already asked you that. Other
I'm
than
trying to
Moose
think.
just sitting back there looking
Moose is hanging.
huge.
He's gonna get hung back up on the pedestal here in a little bit and watch some TV with me.
Nice. Could you?
So
All right, I'm going to ask you this one more time because I'm pretty sure I was talking and this Zoom thing likes to flip back and forth. Is there any way you could grab him just one more time for the
oh
people
yeah.
that didn't see it?
Oh yeah.
Awesome. You are the best.
Hey, I don't mind showing this old boy off. How's that look?
Beautiful.
See if I can get behind here.
Mm,
There it is. And
mm.
then his mass on his, hell, even his G2. I mean, it's a full on, it's probably I'd say 4.5 inches. And
So remind me how much mass he had. Wasn't it like 50 inches of mass?
yeah, he almost 50 inches on his mass measurements, but like what I was saying, like it's just crazy, like what doesn't even get scored. Like
Yeah.
the circumference on the G2s, G3s, G4s, like the circumference don't get, scored on those on the Boone and Crockett. And if you put those in and put Milo's in, I mean this deer's it's gonna smoke a lot of deer, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like just as far as mass wise, um, yeah, it's crazy to even, and that's what a lot of people tell me. Like they'll come to shows and they're like, he doesn't have like one like it factor, like everything. It's
Yeah.
just,
That's why I said he's the perfect 12.
yeah, he's
Mhm.
just the perfect deer, man. It's crazy.
Well, my heart's skipping beats. I think I need to go to the hospital. So
That's how I
awesome,
felt
dude.
after pulling the trigger.
Yeah, I bet. I did you go to your doctor after? Because you should have.
I probably should. Who knows what's happened to me since then.
Oh gosh. All right, man. Well, I'll let you get back to it. But Dustin, thank you for coming on, dude. Let's do this again sooner than we did, a
Yep.
year apart. And let me know if there's anything I can do to sort of try and help push the Huff Buck stuff. Obviously the music
Yep.
and anything you need, dude. Just let me know.
Awesome. Hey, I appreciate it, Eric. Always
Yes,
enjoy
sir.
talking, man.
Awesome, dude. Till next time, buddy.
Yep. We'll see you, brother.